Big Sky Breakdown, proudly presented by the Bobcat Collective at Montana State. The Bobcat Collective is the NIL collective that serves Montana State University student athletes. The collective is partnered with Montana State to connect fans, alumni, businesses, and local nonprofits with Montana State student athletes. Opportunities through the collective allow student athletes to earn compensation while serving the greater Montana State University community. Sign up now for memberships and enjoy automatic entry into raffles for free tickets while supporting the bright minds at Montana State. They have multiple different membership tiers, and you can also be a one-time supporter, and you can also business partner or corporate supporter. Visit bobcatcollective.com for more. Oh, the twisted web it weaves when you're talking about the coaching world across college football. We have an interesting and a sort of fun connection coming up here in Bozeman on Saturday. And right now we're joined by Pete Sterbick, who's the offensive coordinator for Montana State. They host San Diego on Saturday, and he has a connection to Brandon Moore, who is the head coach there for the Toreros. Before we get to that, Coach, let's talk about your team. First of all, thanks for joining us. How you doing?
You bet. Doing well. Thanks for having me.
First of all, just broad question. What have you liked about your guys' offensive execution through two games, and what sort of things do you need to shore up offensively after two games?
Well, I think there's some guys that have stood out as playmakers. Taco, obviously, especially the first game against Oregon, which we did a better job of getting him the ball. He's a guy we can definitely go to, and I think Dane Steele's kind of come out of nowhere to be a guy, this last week that can make some plays for us and is dependable. And obviously Julius and Adam in the backfield doing some really good things. And I think Justin has shown some flashes of being a pretty good quarterback for us, just getting to that level of consistency. And consistency is such a buzzword, with any team. And so that's really what we're looking for. And I love the high effort. Any mistake our guys make, it's not because of anything effort wise. It's just they're all in and going at it full tilt, and we just got to get better.
How do you think Justin Lamson has come along, just in terms of his acclimation to first the football team, but also
Yeah.
to your offensive scheme?
Football team wise, he's great. He's got the it factor about him. The guys really gravitated to him right away when he got here, and especially when we hit June, when he was able to really work out with the team and really be a member of the team and kind of move through workouts and using his voice as a leader, which is really hard to do that when you're sitting around in spring ball and you're not going through anything. So that part of it's been great, and it's just for a play caller, for me, getting to know what he grasps really well, how he reacts, what makes him tick, what plays really work for him on third down, what he likes, and he's learning that too within our system. Where does he fit with that? And so it's kind of an ongoing process. But he's an intelligent kid, very coachable, hungry to learn. He's a dog. He'll go play, he'll fight, and he can keep plays alive, which is huge, and it's just probably getting him more reps, within the things that we're calling, and just getting him to have expectations of what's going to happen post snap. And we're playing catch up a little bit because he wasn't doing that in the spring.
When you do have a guy, though, that does have that sort of innate competitiveness,
Yeah,
those are the two things that have really stood out to me: is toughness and is competitiveness. You can just
definitely.
see it. Uh, that must be easier to start with that and teach him the other stuff than try to teach him those two things, right?
Yeah, yeah, no doubt. And then really not just the other offensive players, when the defense sees that, man, they feed off of that. Some of the things that he did even against Oregon, and some of the scrambles that he has and that he had last week. Guys love that fire, and he's tough, and he brings it. Guys know that they want to go to battle with a guy like that, and so he's definitely got that.
The offensive line reshuffle, how much of an impact do you think that's had just on execution offensively through two games?
Yeah, I think the biggest impacts the guys we've played against, to be honest with you. I don't know
Right.
if I have a great answer for that because you're playing against some pretty special defensive linemen, those stand-up edge players that Oregon had.
Right.
And then you go to South Dakota State, there's some really good players. Kobe Claiborne is really, really good. He's just undersized. He'd be at a higher level if he was 6'2". And there's other guys on that defensive front for South Dakota State that are really good. So we've gotten a really good look. We got guys playing different positions than planned. That's part of the deal in football and college football. And So no excuses there, but we got some guys that are still kind of getting used to, JT's getting used to being a center again. He hadn't done that for a while, and Titans playing guard. He hadn't done that for a couple years. And so, guys, they better get used to it because that's what we have right now, and that's what we're doing. And I look for improvement to be coming, just based off the reps, but also the experience of playing, against some pretty high competition. But everybody's going to have D linemen. I mean, San Diego's got a couple guys that are really, really good that we got to take care of. So just looking for better execution up front and just covering guys up and letting our backs make them right based off how they're blocking.
Yeah, I asked Brent Vegan this on Monday too. How do you sort of take the good stuff that you've done and put it in perspective for the guys, given the level of competition that you've played, but then also try to keep them moving forward in terms of an improvement angle?
Yeah, well, we got a high standard here, so we're not using it as an excuse that we're playing against Amari Washington and Bear Alexander and all those guys that we played against, and we still expect to block them. You're still calling plays to be successful, and so it's trying to reach that high mark, and but at the same time, we're not going to get down on ourselves because we realize, we try to balance those two things. We realize we are playing against a pretty good competition, and that we just got to play better. We got to stay at it and coach them better and make sure we're repping the right plays and we're running plays the right direction and that the back's aiming point's correct in his eyes because, all of it's got to correlate to what's going on up front. And, we're pretty positive and confident that we're going to have better results as we move along.
Join Town Pump's Pump It Up Rewards Plus program and never pay full price for fuel again.
Save 5 cents on every gallon every day at any Town Pump across Montana.
Plus, earn and redeem points on your favorite in-store items to get free stuff with our clubs.
Stop in and pick up a rewards card. Download the Pump It Up Rewards Plus app today.
Or visit townpump.com/rewards to register and start saving.
Town Pump. Right down the road. Pump it up. Oh, yeah.
What can it bring to you though, having played? I was watching the Oregon game back. I mean, you're not going to see a guy like 11. I mean, anywhere, right? Like not in the Big
Yeah.
Sky, but the guy's, he's 6'5", 275. He's the number one defensive line recruit in the country like 4 years ago.
Yeah.
That guy just doesn't really exist anywhere, let alone in the Big Sky. So what can you get though from playing against guys like that, but also like the high level guys you played against last week against South Dakota State?
Yeah, well, I mean, anything that comes out of it positive, and there was positive moments. I mean, we were moving the football against Oregon. We just didn't finish drives, and so things that we did well, we got to build upon it, and hopefully those are identity pieces that we can carry with us. And I think that's something we're just pursuing is what exactly are we? What is our identity? But anything positive, I think you got to look at it as something you can take with you, and then just try to build upon that, find different ways to do it, find different ways to get guys the ball, and kind of keep it around the same scheme.
Pete Sterbick joining us, talking all things Bobcat football. So San Diego comes to town on Saturday. Brandon Moore, the head coach in his second year there, leading the Toreros. But you guys were together at Colorado School of Mines, and you were there as the OC, and then all of a sudden you're the head coach when he leaves. So just tell us that story of just the sort of the way that this all went down. It's sort of a moving musical chairs sort of example of how college football coaching can kind of work these days.
Yeah, it was crazy. We played for the title in 22, and then we had a really good team coming back. And April 1st of 23, Brandon told me he was looking at the San Diego job. And I thought maybe it was an April Fool's joke. So I went right back in after he told me and asked him. He said, "No, that would have been a good one, but no, this is for real." And then he, a couple weeks went by and kind of got dragged out, and I didn't know what was going to happen, and kind of loosely had things in place that I would have a pretty good shot to be the guy. And then he ended up taking the job, and I kind of quickly got bumped up in his place and moved one office over. But I love Brandon. I mean, I don't know if I'll ever have as much fun working for anybody else as I did for him and with him. We had a great staff, and it was almost like a group of friends working together. I mean, it was unbelievable. He just has a great persona about him, and he just such a positive person. And I know what their mentality is going to be coming here. They're going to fully think that they can get the job done. He's going to have them convinced that they can beat anybody they play, and that's just the kind of guy he is. And I've worked with other guys on that staff too, and it's a really, really good group of guys leading that team. And so I expect to have our hands full, and we gotta come with it and play well because I know what they bring to the table.
You mentioned how funny he is to work with, but also just how much success he's had.
Oh yeah.
What do you think makes him sort of one of the young rising coaches in the business right now?
Well, his personality is phenomenal. I mean, he just people gravitate to him. He lights the room up when he walks in, and the way he treats people. And he played in the NFL. He looks like an NFL linebacker right now. So I mean, he's got kind of that presence physically, but and he's a great teacher. He's a great linebackers coach. He's able to connect with anybody he talks to and get to their level, which I think is a pretty special characteristic that he has. And he makes everybody he talks to feel important, and that makes guys want to play for him. And then he has the good coaches around him that I think kind of breed the same mentality. And he's got an eye for talent, and he definitely does a great job.
How would you just define like the style that he wants his teams to sort of encompass, or like what sort of identity is reflected in a
Yeah.
Brady Moore coach team?
Well, I know defensively they'll talk about populating the football. They want all 11 hats on the ball because you'll watch them and they fly around. I mean, they're those inside backers when they see a gap open, they are down through it. They hammer and knife with their backers. The way they gap step with their defensive line's unique. They do some unique things, so I think that makes it different. But then, I mean, they're an FCS non-scholarship team, and I told our guys, you better not think of them that way because how hard they play makes up for any ability that they might not have of a Big Sky team. They're a 3-4. They hug their backers up tight outside. They have a 7-man presence just about every first and second down that you'll get against them, and then they'll mix things up on third down, and it just creates this mentality to fly around defensively, and I think that does carry over to the offense too, because Brandon does a good job of even just little things like in pre-practice stretch, he's over talking to the offensive guys, and he takes the time to really get to know those guys. And then they have a good offensive staff. Nick Fulton's their offensive coordinator, who I replaced at Mines in 2019. He's really good. And Ryan Diedrich's the receivers coach and pass game coordinator. I worked with Deeds for a handful of years at Mines, and he's phenomenal. And so they got a really good balance on both sides of the ball. But for him, it does start with the defense, and populating the football is huge for them. And they got a unique scheme. There's not a lot of teams that play what they play and how they play it. And their kids are tough. I mean, they're going to play tough. They'll demand it. They'll recruit it, develop it. So like I said, I know what we're getting with these guys, and they've got some good players. You better be on it, or you're going to be in trouble against them.
And it's been like that since Coach Lindsey was there too, right? I mean, San Diego's been good.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
They've had some good players, and
Definitely.
it's been interesting to see because they cross over with the Big Sky a lot. And certainly, I think the Big Sky teams that take them seriously have some success. But I mean, they've jumped up and beat Big Sky teams before. I mean, they beat Cal Poly in the playoffs when Cal Poly was really, really good. So
Yeah. Yeah.
I certainly know that they can get it done. So how do you mentioned you're emphasizing that to the guys? I mean, that's got to be an important part of this week, right? Is just respect your opponent.
Well, it's huge. And I told our guys Monday morning, I said, I want you guys to be angry. I want you guys to have a chip on your shoulder and have an edge to you. Maybe it'd be different if we played somebody else first game and we won, and then we were able to win last week and we're feeling really good about ourselves. But I'm hoping that San Diego's coming here at the wrong time for them, and that they're going to play a team that has a huge chip on their shoulder, being us, and that we come out and get after it. But there's a specific way we got to do that, and I just really want that respect factor to be high for them. I don't know that anybody beats somebody because they disrespect their opponent. I think you need to respect everybody you play and maximize that. And we got really good kids that I think are about the right things, and they're locked in, and we're starving for a win, so that's part of it. I think a lot of it's, pretty organic for us. But I know I've been trying to do everything I can to make these guys realize that this is a group of guys that are going to come here thinking they can beat us, and we got to change their minds.
Pete Sterbick here on the Big Sky Breakdown, as well as Nuanez Now. Thanks for being here, Coach.
You bet.